Hey guys, it's Heather again. Long time no talk. Things have been super crazy and hectic right now, so I'm sorry I haven't been updating as much as I had planned. I also moved last weekend, so that's another thing that kind of put me behind on making a video. But I promise to update you guys as much as I can. It's probably better, I think, for me. It's like I have a tendency to ramble, to try to just make as few videos as possible and just kind of lump it all together. But anyways, so it's September 18th. I've been in school for almost a month now, and things have been crazy. It's been a challenge in some ways to get used to the schedule, but I'm slowly getting used to it. Since school has started, we have had one checkoff and one test. Our first skills checkoff was over vital signs, and basically a skills checkoff is when you go into the lab, they have you draw numbers, and you go in a certain order for the rest of the semester. I unfortunately drew number 38, and so there's only like 42 people in my class, so I'm very close to the end. I really wanted a number more in the middle, but I'll have to deal with that. After they go through everybody in the list, when they got to me, I went into the lab that they're using, and I got they have like a bunch of different teachers in each little room, and I got a specific teacher, which she's one of my favorites. She's really nice, so I was happy about that. Anyways, they give you a little scenario on their medical record that kind of says, you know, just what's going on with the patient, and you have to go by the nursing process, which is add, pi, assess. Well, I guess for this one you don't do a diagnose, but it's just assessment, planning, implementation, evaluation, and documentation. So you have to go by the nursing process, and you kind of have to verbalize what all that you're doing. My person had a scenario of being on dialysis, and so he had a fistula in his left arm, which I don't know if you know, but if somebody has a certain contraindication for blood pressure, such as a fistula, or if a woman has had a mastectomy, you can't do a blood pressure in whatever arm that the side of the breast was removed, or whatever's going on with the arm. So I had to be sure to note that I couldn't, you know, do the blood pressure in that particular arm. Then you have to go through and just perform their vital signs. You have to, you know, to go in, you have to identify your client. That's extremely important. You have to check with their armband against their medical record, and also you have to have the patient verbalize to you who they are, so that you know that you have the right patient. You also have to know certain things like, you know, medical asepsis. You need to wash your hands. You have to provide for privacy by pulling the curtain, stuff like that. Then you also have to actually take their vital signs, pulse, respirations, blood pressure, and temperature. For each one, we have to get in within a 2-point range that our instructor gets. So, like, for instance, if I got an 86 for their pulse and my teacher got an 88, I would be good. I wouldn't get any points taken off. But if I got an 86 and they got a 90, I would unfortunately get several points taken off. I was mostly nervous about the blood pressure just because, although I have worked as a CNA, I was extremely out of practice with it, and it's kind of a tricky thing to get sometimes on anybody, and we have to use a double-headed stethoscope so that the instructor could listen to, and those aren't the easiest to hear out of. But I actually was 2 points off on my pulse and my respirations, but I got the blood pressure on the dot, what my instructor did, so I was extremely pleased on that. I ended up getting a 100. I don't know if I said that already, but I was so shocked. I was so nervous beforehand. I have formed a nice little study group with some girls and a guy in my class, and we've been practicing non-stop, and we were all super nervous, but I was just amazed that I got a 100. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I think that I deserved it. I don't know if that sounds cocky, but I mean, I really did practice my butt off for it, so I'm really happy. Everybody else in my study group made an A as well, and we were also, for my class in general, we were the first class that they said in several semesters that everybody passed their first checkoff, so they're very impressed with us as of now, so I was very happy about that. We also have had our first lecture test, and that was on Thursday, and that was in my Foundations of Nursing class. I have also been studying my butt off for that one as well, and I'm very happy to say I made a 95 on that test, so I was just so pleased. There was 40 questions, so I only missed 2 to make the 95, because I believe they were worth like 2.5 points apiece. I'm not sure which ones I missed, but I was a little shocked I made a 95. I was really hoping for an A, but you know, as they say, nursing tests are different and stuff like that than regular tests, so I just wasn't sure what to expect. We take all of our tests on a computer, and it's kind of nerve-wracking because as soon as you're finished taking your test, you have to raise your hand for the teacher to come over there before you can show what your grade is. And so it's kind of nerve-wracking if you do bad. The teacher's just going to know right then and there that you effed up or screwed up or whatever. And so, yeah, I was just really nervous about it. But I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that 95 pop up on the screen. I felt really proud of myself. So, yeah. Basically, I know some of you guys asked about how my study tips were, and I said that I would let y'all know how my study tips have been, or what they have been since I made a good grade on my test. But I honestly, for the skills check off, like all I did was I just made sure I knew I just practiced the skills as much as possible. I made a little script, I guess you could say, for what I was supposed to say during each part of the nursing process and everything. But as for the lecture tests, I can't really tell y'all what I've been doing because I don't know, I've just been reading basically, and I've just been talking out loud with my study group, making sure we understand the material. Right now we're not doing that much, like for this particular test, there wasn't a lot of stuff you really needed to memorize, so there wasn't anything like that, but I just made sure that I read, I went over all the lecture material that they handed out in class, and I just reviewed my butt off. They also give us review questions to do, and those helped me out tremendously. They kind of give you an idea of what to expect. So I've just been doing those until I got them right. I was on my Kosher and Herb books website doing the practice NCLEX test questions on there and stuff. So that's basically what really helped me out for that. We have another test and another check-off next week. We have a check-off over basic wound care, which is going to be extremely simple. I think that my study group's going to get together on Monday and just go over it. It's going to be basically the same thing that we do for vital signs, except for, you know, obviously we're performing the basic wound care. We need to, you know what kind of drainage could possibly be on the gauze and the ABD pads and stuff like that. We need to, for ours, we obviously can't do wound care on an actual classmate because they're not really going to have a wound, so we're using the mannequins for that, and we have to, all the wounds that they have on the stomach are suture wounds, and so we have to also know how to count the sutures and stuff like that. We need to make sure the patient's not in any pain. We have to note whether they need pain medication before we do the wound care and stuff like that. But our next lecture test is in Nursing and Health and Illness 1, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult than I think the Foundations of Nursing test is going to be. It's over another module entirely, so that will be just challenging in general just because there's a whole extra several chapters of stuff that we need to know. But also we're doing diagnostics in this module test, I guess you could say, and so there's a lot of stuff that we need to know about the blood cell counts and just like what normal lab values are and stuff. So I'm going to be working on that this weekend quite a bit, but I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break right now, trying to get just caught up with everything. It is quite overwhelming. We have another test next Tuesday as well, so that's just like never ending after this. It's just going to be crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm also using flashcards as another way to study. I've always used flashcards, and I find that they help me out somewhat, so I'm just going to keep using that until I find that they don't work for me anymore. But basically the thing that I feel is helping me with my test is just to actually go over the material. I don't necessarily read the chapters word for word, page for page. We have behavioral objectives that our teacher gives us that they say, like, this is where your test questions will come from, and so that helps out a lot in that aspect. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say else right now, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on this. Let me know if y'all have anything else that you want me to talk about, and I'll try to do that, and I will try to update you guys, maybe not after this first test because I won't have that much to say, but maybe after that next second test, so I can just kind of combine the two in one, or I guess the lab check off and the two tests in one. But I hope you have a great day, guys. For those of you who are starting your programs already, I'm hoping that you're enjoying it as much as I am and that you're doing well. Just remember to study hard and don't give up. And I've also gotten quite a few new subscribers, and I just appreciate that so much. It really makes me just want to do even better just so I can have you guys cheering me on still. It really means a lot to me. So to inspire other people who want to go to nursing school. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good weekend. Bye.